have a question for everyone. Who enjoys playing games? Okay, lots of hands going up. There's so many different kinds of games, right? There are card games, there are board games, there are sports, there are word games, all sorts of games that I'm not even mentioning right now. But my question here is, what do you need to know in order to play? Rules? Fun, okay. Rules, okay, thank you. So the title of my talk today is The Game of Life, Rules, Strategy, and Objective. So the number one rule for me, and this is going to be a total new thought kind of rules, strategy, and objective. The number one rule, it's the number one thing that we come here to remind ourselves of, that we come to remind each other of, is that God is all there is. Okay? That's it. So that means God is the player number one, God is player number two, God is the game itself, God is the experience, that we're having sort of thing. God is all there is. And so that means there's no me versus them, okay? It just means that God is having a super fun time just playing whatever it is that is happening. So in this kaleidoscopic existence that we are living from moment to moment to moment, there are so many opportunities to remember this one truth, this one principle by which we live. So that takes us to point number 2, which is strategy, which is if God is all there is, but often we kind of forget that this is who and what we are, that this is who and what the other player in the game might be, what else do we need to do? We need to have a strategy that helps us to move through the game, to navigate this game with awareness, which means you gotta play consciously, right? You can't just sort of show up not knowing what the rules are and then just kind of figure it out along the way, although a lot of times throughout our day, that's kind of what we're doing, right? Because what we're doing is we are living our life in this moment based on thoughts, based on experiences, based on memories, based on choices that we made before. And we just repeat those same thoughts and choices and experiences again and again and again. But if we open ourselves up to the knowing and to the certainty that, oh my gosh, I am God, oh my gosh, I am pure, essential love expressing, then all of a sudden, we can choose consciously to play as God. And not sort of go, oh my God, this game sucks. I don't like the rules. I don't like the way this is happening. This game, blah, 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 kind of thing. And just pointing fingers out there because the experience isn't the experience that we would prefer to have. But when we remember who is actually playing the game, then we're playing consciously. And then we're showing up as God, as love, as infinite possibilities for whatever it is that is happening on the board, right? Now, the third thing is, why do you play the game? Well, for some people, it's to win, right? Like that is the ultimate goal. But is it? Well, it can be. But if you go back to, say, Thomas Troward, who was one of the biggest influences on Ernest Holmes, who founded religious science and wrote The Science of Mind and a whole bunch of other books, the whole point of life is to enjoy it. Life is all about spirit fulfilling itself in, through, as, and around us so it can enjoy itself, so it can feel and experience more of what it is, because when it's just sort of a concept and a possibility, then there's nothing that it can actually do. But when it moves and grooves its way in, through, and as us, then it can actually experience itself, and that's spirit enjoying itself. And that is the point of the game. So what we can do if you're competitive, like I am, and you want to win, then my suggestion and invitation is shift your definition of winning. Because winning doesn't have to be about coming in first. It doesn't necessarily have to be about winning the big prize or trophy or whatever. It's to enjoy the entire experience and be present for it all along the way, right? So we can win and enjoy at the same time, because we live in a yes and kind of world, right? So there was a quote, and there was actually a spelling error in the quote for our meditation, where I said that life is a divine playground and joy is the evolution of playfulness. And so when I was thinking of the games that we play, the games that I've played throughout my lifetime, I went back to when Milana was younger. And some of you will have heard this story. Milana is our daughter, who is now 21. And when she was younger, she loved to play Monopoly. And the Monopoly board that we have is the Monopoly game board that I grew up with. So it's like pretty old and worn and used. Anyway, she and Glenn would have these marathon games of Monopoly that would go on for days and days and days, because in Monopoly, it never ends. You can print your own money, right? Kind of like some governments choose to do. But anyway, you can print your own money and the game can just go on and on and on and on and on. And so one of the cutest things when Milana was younger was she and Glenn and I would be playing, and she would be the one who would have all the hotels on Park Place and whatever those blue ones were, and we would continually land on them. But she would kind of be oblivious to what was happening because she was just having so much fun being in the moment, enjoying the game. And so we'd be sitting there, waiting for her to say, "You owe me $1,000 rent." And it's like, just go, roll the dice again, just go. She doesn't notice, just keep going. And eventually, it'd be like, "Milano, don't you want to collect what you're owed?" And she's like, "I don't need it." Which eventually would mean that she would end up losing all of her money. She'd have to give away her railroad. She'd have to mortgage things, whatever. But that was okay because that was just part of the game for her. And then somehow she still managed to win it all back. So my memory of her is that she just enjoyed the game so much. It wasn't about, getting all the hotels and buildings and whatever on those fancy pants properties. It was just to have fun and be present for whatever was happening. And if she didn't need to collect the money, doesn't matter. She didn't need to collect the money. So there's a quote here I have by Alan Watts, and he says, "By replacing fear of the unknown with curiosity, we open ourselves up to an infinite stream of possibility. We can let fear rule our lives, or we can become childlike with curiosity, pushing our boundaries, leaping out of our comfort zones, and accepting what life puts before us. And this is how, instead of trying to win the game by becoming first and getting the big prize, we can win the game by enjoying every single step of the way, being present for every single aspect, every interaction, every experience." Now, Rupert Spira, who is one of my new favorite non-dualist philosophers, writes, "The entire universe is a dream in God's mind, made only of God, known only by God, and our purpose as individuals is to explore and recognize reality as that, and to live and celebrate it to the best of our ability." Oh, I love the way that he writes. And this just takes me back to something that he and Alan Watts and so many other philosophers and thought teachers have said, that life is kind of the ultimate game of hide and seek. It's God forgetting that God is God so that God can remember that God is God. And so every moment of every day, we're like, I remember, I forget. I remember, I forget. I remember, I forget. Sometimes those moments may be a little bit longer or in between, but the whole point is for us to this hide and seek, to explore and to find ourselves again, because we're never gone, we're never missing. The love we are, the God we are, the spirit we are, the infinite potentiality that we are, the boundless, limitless creativity that we are, it is always present, it is always flowing, it is always looking for a way to unleash itself out into the world, and the only thing that ends up stopping it is us, because we forget. So the whole point for us to win this game is to remember who we are, rule number one, God is all there is, to play with strategy of being conscious and aware of the choices that we are making and that we're the ones who are creating reality. And then ultimately, the whole point of the game is to enjoy it, to allow ourselves to be present with curiosity and wonder and awe and sometimes compassion and tenderness for what it was that we're experiencing and what it is that is going on in life around us. And the more that we can follow rule number 1, the more the strategy and the objective is going to become more playful, more joyful, and maybe even that much easier to navigate. So rule number 1, God is all there is. Strategy number 1, play consciously. And objective number 1, enjoy the game. Every kaleidoscopic twist and turn in the game of life allows us to live life lovingly and celebrate the love we truly are. The more we know the rules, strategy, and objective of the game, the more fully we get to experience and express as the awesomeness, beauty, and love we truly are. Thank you, and so it is.